Let's take a look at the very latest in the world of business. The local bourse is expected to struggle to recover Monday's losses as it faces continued Asian market pressure, as investors fret about expected U.S. inflation numbers and corporate earning reports. Carmen Mpelwane, Portfolio Manager at Absa Asset Management, joins us now. Very good morning to you, Carmen. Thank you for your time. Give us an overview of how the markets opened in early trade after tracking global peers lower yesterday.
Yeah, so let's start with Asia. We've seen a decline in Asia today as well, and that's translated into a decline on the JSE, so down almost 60 bips this morning, largely driven by the diversified miners as well as the platinums. So it looks to be a rough day, expected to continue for the rest of the day.
So the rand broke above 17 rand against the dollar for the first time since October of 2020, with the euro weakening further to almost equal a dollar for the first time in about 2 decades. Give us a forecast of what we can expect there.
Yes, I think it's largely been driven by the energy crisis, number one, as well as inflation concerns. So we know that with Ukraine, which supplies about 40% of Europe's energy, that's been a significant constraint. And we've also seen that the ECB has been a lot slower in terms of its interest rate increases. So it still hasn't embarked on its interest rate increase as yet. So lagging the Fed by about 75 bips as it is for this interest rate increasing period. And so a lot of constraint on the European economy as it stands, and that's likely expected to continue based on the fact that inflation continues to rise, and especially as you've mentioned, going into the rest of the week where we see concern around which way the inflation is going to be for the US, expected to remain elevated and therefore to see a read-through for continued interest rate increases there.
On the other end, gold prices have slumped to a 9-month low while oil plunges by 2%. What are some of the sentiments driving those moves?
Yeah, so we've seen over the last week almost, I think, triple in the number of COVID cases in China. And they've once again embarked on strict restrictions or lockdown restrictions. And that has seen a significant reduction in the movement in China. And that's a direct translation to a decrease in demand for oil. And hence the oil price has gone down marginally. We've just spoken about the strong dollar, which is now considered a safe haven in this inflationary increasing environment, as well as the interest increase environment for the Fed. So that has led to a direct decrease in gold, which we've seen come off since the start of the Ukraine invasion.
And just before we end, Teresa PLC production report for the third quarter ended the 30th of June of this year. What does that look like?
Yeah, so they've come off a strong year-on-year for both their chrome production as well as their PGM basket. Unfortunately, quarter-on-quarter for PGM, there was a slight decrease, whereas the chrome we saw an increase for Teresa. However, what has happened is they've reduced the guidance for chrome specifically for the year, and that the basis for that has been in relation to the ramp-up of their plant. So they've seen a slowdown in terms of that, as well as a decrease in their feedstock grade. So that has led to a decline in the guidance. Teresa has been down about 23% year to date and has opened down this morning again.
Very well. Let's leave it there for now, and thank you for your time. Carmen Mpelwane, Portfolio Manager at Absa Asset Management.